Here's how you make some delicious tomato soup to go with your homemade baguette, even if you've never made tomato soup before. This soup is pretty much 3 steps: the onion, the tomatoes, and then the cream. For the onions, what we're gonna do is half a onion. Chopping an onion is actually relatively simple, but it can be kind of intimidating. This is how I like to do it. Got a little bit of Claudette going on. My thumb is tucked in. It's not out here. Push down. Blade on the top, push down. Just get under there with your thumb. We only need half an onion. Blade is down. From the side, I'm ready to push. There's the slice. To the end and it's kind of wobbly, tip it over and just cut this way. We're just slicing today, you don't have to chop. Big pot. Why do recipes often ask for a big pot with cast iron? The heat is carried evenly in this pot for the ingredients that you're cooking, which means that you're not gonna have typically like one part of the pan that's really hot and one part that's not. If you don't have one, you're totally okay. Just make sure the flames are in the middle of the surface below. Relocate our stinky friends. A tablespoon of olive oil and a tablespoon of butter. With medium-high just to get the temperature up, and then I'll turn it down to medium. Make sure to stir. Stir the onions at about 6 minutes. They're really starting to change color and get a little bit more yellow. This is about 8 minutes and the onions are starting to turn brown a little, which is what we want. It's been roughly 10 minutes on medium to medium-high heat. I was stirring most of the time. I just want them to turn this beautiful brownish color, which means they're caramelized. The taste when they're caramelized goes from like that really sharp raw flavor to more of a sweet mellow flavor. We're in step 2 now, which is to add all the tomato stuff, including some seasoning. Half a teaspoon dry basil, half a teaspoon garlic powder, a pinch of black pepper, teaspoon of sugar. Sugar might seem odd for a savory dish, but that is actually just to help with the balance of the total flavor. A can of crushed tomatoes, diced works too, and then half a cup chicken stock. Stir together, bring to a boil, and then reduce the temperature to a simmer. Why do we bring it to a boil and then to a simmer? It helps with the flavor and it helps with the texture. It's boiling here. You can tell by the big bubbles and how quickly the bubbles are going. This is what simmering looks like. Smaller bubbles, less aggressive. 20 minutes of total cook time and our soup is looking delicious. It is the chunky. So I'm gonna taste it. It's good to taste it. Give it a last little bit of salt and pepper. If you don't like chunky, you can use a standing blender or you can use a handheld blender. I also like a creamy tomato soup, so I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of sour cream. Top with a little bit of Parmesan and serve with some delicious buttered crusty bread. Maybe the baguettes you made earlier this week. Yummy!